Hey everyone, this is Cody Lee of BlackCatBooks.org, author of I, the Dragon King Dio, Rabbit Hole, and Cruel and Beautiful. With the recent announcement that Chainsaw Man is coming out as an anime, I kind of realized that, like, wow, I've been reading this manga, read through like 6 volumes of this stuff, and somehow never got around to really talking about like the manga at all in depth on this channel. I don't think I really done a deep dive on it. I think I did a quick video talking about like, oh yeah, this is the best thing ever, I really enjoy it, I like this about it, but I didn't really go into like spoiler territory or going into like some of the stuff that I think the manga does well, and I kind of wish I did. The series is still ongoing, so I suppose like now is not really the time to do a proper analysis of it. Like, I'm starting to realize with manga, reading them, like, because they go on so long, the author sometimes radically changes what they want to focus on and what they want to do, like, artistically, and as a result, like, the end product, like, tends to look very differently than, like, how it started. Like, we kind of saw this with Beastars, how it, like, started off as, like, this typical, like, school drama, and then kind of became, like, a shonen battle thing. We kind of saw that. Like, of course, One Piece is always doing new things with every arc. We have, like, all these, there are lots of examples, right? So, like, with Chainsaw Man, having only read through all the currently available volumes once, I'm not sure now is the time to really discuss it in depth. So I suppose this is going to be, like, a very brief overview of the core concept of Chainsaw Man and the occurrences up through Volume 6. A sort of like blow-by-blow analysis as I can remember it, because, like, this is 6 volumes long. I probably won't remember everything that happens. There are probably some major things that I'm probably overlooking and probably, like, underestimating. I think for example, I think I kind of underestimated, like, the importance of the character of Aki. Like, I think I said in my last video that, like, before she fucking died, that, like, Hamona was my favorite character, and that, like, I was really excited about seeing what they would do. But then, like, immediately after I made that video, they fucking killed her off. She's dead, and now Aki is sort of established himself as, like, one of the major protagonists of the story, I think. And I think that's one of the things that really sets Chainsaw Man apart. First and foremost, when it comes to every other manga I've read, like, compared to everything else I've read, Chainsaw Man is the only series that actually had the balls to introduce and kill off a number of named characters. Like, there were a bunch of people they were building up as being, like, a member of, like, the special Devil Hunter squad. You have, like, Himono, like my best girl. Well, okay, I like the games. I like the series so much. I have, like, 3 or 4 best girls. Like, I liked Himono, I liked Power, and I like Makima, all for, like, very different reasons. Like, radically different reasons. Like, Power isn't a good person, and Makima probably isn't either. So, definitely isn't either. But in all radically different ways. That is one of the things I really admire about Chainsaw Man as, like, as a series. Like, something that I think it does exceptionally well is that, like, it really gets this idea across that, like, all of the characters involved are radically different people, right? Like, you have, like, the protagonist Denji, who I don't think I've praised enough in these videos, talking about this. You have Denji, right? Like, a 16-year-old boy who's living in poverty, being treated like a slave by, like, these mobsters that he owes money to. So in order to pay these guys back, he has to, like, use his chainsaw dog to kill devils for them. For some reason. I don't think they really go into why that is. So Denji, right? Denji is a great character because like, he truly emphasizes, he comes off almost like an exaggeration of the typical shonen protagonist. Like, it kind of comes off like a very One Punch Man-ish in a way. Like, rather than, like, being an overpowered hero, Denji is, like, an overtly simplistic one. Right, like, for every other shonen protagonist, you have this plot thread. Like, Naruto wants to become the Hokage. Like, Goku wants to be stronger. You have like some like higher goal that you're always trying to reach to. Like you have some kind of like end point in mind. What's Denji's goal? What does he want? Well, the thing is, Denji just wants a normal life. That's all he wants. But like he has such a warped sense of like what's normal due to his background that like it kind of expresses itself in weird ways, in really weirdly compelling, relatable ways. Like for example, what's the motivation for Denji to go after the first monster, like the Bat Demon? Oh, I want to touch boobs. Like that's his goal. Like he legit goes out, fights this Bat Demon to save this cat from another fiend power, and so he can touch her boobs. Legit amazing shit. Like it's built up so well, it's executed perfectly, and it has the greatest plot twist I've ever seen in any manga ever. Legit a 10 out of 10 twist. Did not see it coming. Just burst out laughing. Just burst out laughing when I saw that. Unbelievable. Like, and it kept going. Like, it escalated. Like, that's the thing I think a lot of these shonen protagonists don't really get, is that, like, your goals change as you get older, as you get more perspective, as you, like, get experience in what you're doing. Like, Denji just wanted a normal life, right? And then he wanted love, and then he had his heart set on, like, a specific woman, and then he settled for another one, and then he met, like, a girl that he truly fell in love with, only to have her fucking backstab him. Like, that's so relatable. He comes off like an actual, real, compelling protagonist in that sense. Because, like, his goals are constantly changing, but it's a realistic evolution. It is a normal thing that everyone has to go through. Like, is he going to, like, eventually move on past, like, his desire for sex? Is that going to be, like, his character arc? I don't know. I actually don't know where the character is going to go from now. I have no idea, and that's what makes it so interesting to me, is that, like, the character has gone all over the place, but in a strangely compelling, relatable way throughout all six volumes. And I think a major reason why Denji is so compelling, so interesting, is sort of like his opposite. I would say, like, his, I don't want to say enemy. I don't want to say, like, love interest. I don't want to say like anything like that. I guess we could call her like Sylvia Crystal for those of us who are major No More Heroes fans. Or I suppose Lucille Langley if you're a fan of my novel, Eye of the Dragon. It's kind of bizarre just how many parallels there are between this and my novel, Eye of the Dragon. It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, Makima is a woman that encounters Denji after he becomes Chainsaw Man, and manages to like win him over by like making him fall in love with her to the point where like he'll do anything she says. And Makima is probably one of the most low-key, manipulative, cold, like compelling characters I've ever seen. Like a lot of people will like talk about how like Griffith from Berserk is one of the most like engaging characters in manga history. I disagree with that. I think Griffith was not at all well executed. I don't think like his motivation made any sense. Like I think a lot of people just tend to like exaggerate what he does. Like it's over the top and ridiculous. Like I don't find Griffith all that compelling. With Makima though, with the way she like conducts herself, the way she handles herself, the way she like talks to Denji, the way she talks to other people, like you definitely get this impression that she has some kind of like other higher agenda, and nobody knows what it is. Like nobody understands. Like Makima seems to have some kind of bizarre like higher goal that she's building up to, and it's not obvious what it is. But not only is she like have this goal, she's like able to almost effortlessly, I think, like navigate all through like the political landscape of like the Devil Hunter system, manipulating the people under her, her enemies, and Denji himself to sort of like further her own goals, whatever those may be. And the extent she goes to, bonding with Denji over movies, of like promising him sex, exactly like No More Heroes, um, you know, being an emotional support for him when he needs it, even though like she doesn't seem to really care about him at all. Like she goes all over the place, like when it comes to this. But again, much like Denji's character growth, it comes off as organic and extremely natural. Like this is who she is. This is what you get. This is this this is your female lead or female antagonist or whatever you want to call her. Like this is Makima. Incredibly compelling character. Probably will go on to be one of my favorites ever, assuming they keep on this level of quality. Of course, I haven't read it past Volume 6, but I'm super pleased by how they've built her up. And that kind of leads me to like, okay, so how are the arcs themselves structured? Like, what actually happens in Chainsaw Man? Like, Chainsaw Man, of course, like, you know, becomes Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man goes on a couple of adventures, and he like forms new allies and loses them, and sort of fights other monsters. It's one of those things where it seems like it would actually be kind of basic in a lot of ways, but like the build up through all of these situations is so good and so compelling. You honestly don't even recognize like how stock it is in a lot of ways. Like for example, one of the first things Denji does, right? He goes to the Devil Hunters. He meets the Fiend Power, and they make the deal. Like, okay, if you go save my cat Meowie, you know, who is my only friend, I will let you touch my chest. Like, you know, Power is a hot female fiend. So, like, Denji goes, they encounter this bat creature, but oh no, it's a trap. And so, like, Denji just sort of fights it, and, yeah, he wins. How does it go again? I was getting confused. Like, okay, so what makes this interesting? What makes this setup interesting is like Denji and Power's ridiculous back and forth. Like okay, so typically you have like an idiot hero and like a sensible like sidekick, you know, like Goku and Bulma, like Naruto and Sakura and that kind of thing. Well, I'm not sure it's all called Sakura's sidekick, but you kind of have the idiot hero and like the sensible sidekick essentially. This series takes the idiot hero to the extreme and has like the sensible sidekick being a completely insane, depraved, racist fucking fiend. So there are so many times where Denji and like Power are like alone together and they just get into a fight over like nothing, like ridiculous, like just start screaming at each other out of nowhere about like differences in opinion or where they should go or what they should do, and like it's hilarious. Like they're like on this crazy adventure, like this crazy personal journey of like, you know, Power, right? Like going through her character arc, like establishing her, like her friendship with her cat Meowie, who she kind of has this deep relationship with, in spite of like hating all living creatures. Like it's it's like it's like it's so different than what you see before. What you've seen in any other manga. It's so out there in the way it presents itself, the way it sets itself up, the way it's like, the way it finishes, especially the way it finishes. I keep bringing this up. I can't get over this. Just what Power does when like it's finally time to like touch some boobs, which does happen, by the way. Denji does technically get what he wanted, but it's great. Like it is legit. Like again, a legit like wonderful, well executed plot line with a well-rounded payoff and a good like build up to things to come. Because like Power doesn't go away. She's kind of like downplayed in the following arc, which is kind of like you know, emphasizing some of these Devil Hunters and stuff like that. But she's still there. She's still present, and she's like hilarious. I fucking love Power. She's probably my favorite character overall. Like love her a lot. You know, the other Devil Hunters, like, they took an entire arc to sort of, like, build up, like, you know, this unique Devil Hunter situation, this situation where, like, you're, you know, they go to this building and have to fight this, like, specific devil, and, like, they have Denji and Power with them, and they're kind of establishing, like, the group dynamics, like, the powers and stuff like that. And what do they do after it's over? Like, they fucking kill most of these people off. Like, Kimono dies, fucking, yeah, those other people die. I actually don't remember any of their names. Kimono stuck out so much to me like early on. I grew so attached to her, and they fucking killed her off. Unbelievable. You know, they did such a good job, like, building that up, building up these characters, building up their group dynamic, like, them going on this adventure. Like, I remember where, like, those panels, that little section where, like, they're realizing that, like, they're stuck in a kind of loop, so they can't go, like, you know how, like, it's sort of like, it's sort of like in a video game, like the endless staircase from some Super Mario 64, where, like, you keep going up, but, like, never actually reach the top. They kind of find themselves in this, like, endless loop of staircases where, like, they can't leave this floor. And the way they slowly come to, like, realize, like, what's happening is, like, it's so well done and so well executed and just so compelling. I just love it. And then they have to, like, deal with, like, the potential of, like, starving to death up there, you know, running out of resources, still having to deal with, like, the devils and stuff like that. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. Really enjoy that. Really enjoy that in general. Like, really, when you get down to it, like, the series just does so many things so well. Like, it's hard not to recommend it to people, right? Like, it's one of those things where, like, this is probably one of the most unique, interesting titles I've read so far. And I've read, like, a bunch of stuff. Like, I've been reading a lot more manga than I used to. I have, like, you know, probably a dozen series I'm looking at on my Kindle right now. You know, I dropped a couple, but this is one that, like, I'm not only, like, sticking with. This is the one that's, like, the cream of the crop. This is the one that I like the most. This is the one that I'm attached to right now. This is my shit. Like, you know, some people say they're One Piece fans, they're, like, Naruto fans, they're One Punch Man fans, Attack on Titan fans. I'm a fucking Chainsaw Man guy. Like, I love this shit, okay? And I will be eagerly awaiting the anime adaptation coming soon.